Governor DeSantis takes to the podium.
Earlier
Governor DeSantis takes to the podium.
Earlier today, I signed an executive order declaring a state of emergency.
To call a state of emergency. Meetings after meetings.
Israel must be a partner to Palestinian leaders who are willing to lead their people in living side by side in peace.
After Secretary of State discusses matters in Middle East. And tackle football at risk of being banned.
Tackle football is a high-risk sport.
From the younger generations. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Kenneth Bueno.
I'm Valentina Gaspari. Today is Wednesday, January 10th, 2024.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
I signed an executive order declaring a state of emergency for 49 counties to ensure, out of abundance of caution, we have the resources needed to help impacted counties and impacted Floridians.
Governor DeSantis speaking in Tallahassee, just miles from where a tornado touched down. The worst of yesterday's weather was in Jackson County, just outside the state capitol.
Reporter Ashley Engel from WTXL has more from the city of Mariana.
Tuesday morning, powerful winds ripped through this neighborhood, and I'm going to step out of the frame real quick. As you can see, several RVs like this one are flipped on their sides, and I spoke to the man who lived at this RV, and he says he is thankful that him and his wife are still alive. A resort built for relaxation turned to chaos.
Now our world is a little upset right now.
Paul Yoder and his wife are snowbirds from Illinois. They're building a house near Mariana. They were renting out this RV during the process.
I guess we have to look elsewhere. I'm not sure what we're going to do at this point.
Around 6:30 Tuesday morning, powerful winds flipped RVs like Paul's, shattered car windows, and ripped some buildings to shreds at Florida Caverns RV Resort. Paul and his wife were in the RV when winds knocked it over.
Wife was sleeping, and I woke up and I was looking on the news. I saw their tornado coming.
Paul showed me the inside of the flipped RV. The damage I saw inside the RV and around the park was difficult to describe. Leaders with the park tell me 7 people have non-life-threatening injuries following the storm. With no lives lost and families together, people in this neighborhood are counting their blessings.
This is a situation where we have to look at the bright side and we're going to move forward.
Walking and talking with a lot of people in this neighborhood, they told me that they are in good spirits, while a lot of them are filled with gratitude knowing that them and their families are safe, but also knowing that there is going to be a lot of work that needs to be done in order to feel a sense of normalcy once again. In Mariana, I'm Ashley Engel with ABC 27.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is carrying out a whirlwind diplomatic trip to the Middle East as the conflict in Gaza is creating tensions with Israel's neighbors. As CNN's Nick Robertson reports, the Secretary's trip was met with mixed results.
Pleasure to have you in Israel.
Meetings.
First of all, you're welcome here.
Back.
Nice to see you.
To back. To back. To pressure Israel to better protect Gaza's civilians, saying some progress made.
We have an agreement that the UN will now conduct an assessment to determine the conditions necessary for people to be able to move back home.
The war's effects remain harsh. 9 Israeli troops killed Monday. Dead and wounded Palestinians continue overwhelming hospitals. And as Blinken urged better humanitarian access, needy Gazans stormed food trucks. From his meetings in the region the past week, Blinken set out a path to peace, which so far has been publicly rejected by Israel's government.
If Israel wants its Arab neighbors to make the tough decisions necessary to help ensure its lasting security, Israeli leaders will have to make hard decisions themselves.
Blinken also saying that Palestinian leaders must reform, a message he said he'd take to Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas on Wednesday, who appears under increasing pressure to step aside and allow new leadership more palatable to Israel.
Secretary Blinken is calling for change from leaders of both the Israelis and the Palestinians, with no guarantee that either side is going to happen.
Tonight, Republican rivals Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis go head-to-head to get the position against former President Trump in the GOP nomination spot. Both candidates have stated distinctive versions for their party upon taking the presidency for tonight's debate in Des Moines, Iowa. DeSantis has taken issues of immigration, culture wars, and waging feuds in his discussions, while Haley is centered more on national debt with a touch on Ronald Reagan's foreign policies. The outcome of tonight's debate could affect the future of who will uphold the race for president in the GOP party.
NASA announced a delay for their moon landing on Tuesday, and their push for lunar exploration will have to wait until 2026. After a few test flights last year that ended in explosions, the Artemis 3 mission will not execute its mission until at least September 2026, rather than sometime in 2025. With safety as a top priority, the Artemis 2 mission scheduled for November this year is also postponed.
You might assume the zoo is the only place in the U.S. you're going to see a jaguar. Most of the time, you'd be right. But as Ryan Fish reports, a man in Arizona photographed one of the very few wildcats that still roam free in the desert.
For years, Jason Miller has been setting up trail cameras deep in the southern Arizona wilderness, hoping to come across one exotic animal more than any other. Now, he's finally found one.
I was over the moon.
A jaguar seemingly posing for the camera. This one has never been photographed in the U.S. before.
That's mind-blowing. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. It's a needle in a haystack. It's the holy grail for me.
It's a moment Jason's been chasing for years.
Well, when I got into trail cameras, it was a few years after that, I think it was El Jefe was in the Santa Ritas. Who wouldn't want to try to get, a jaguar on camera?
Arizona Game and Fish says it's only the 8th unique jaguar spotted in the U.S. since the 90s. The first since 2016. The exotic big cats are known to move between Arizona and Sonora, Mexico.
You can't do anything to an endangered species. You can't hunt it, obviously, kill it, or harass it in any way. You really can't track it. And that's why the trail camera technology is so valuable. They're being seen in their natural environment, moving about normally.
My wife and my daughter can't wait, to see what I get when I come home. There's people out there that get the smile on their face like I do when I check my cameras, especially, people that can't go out there and do it. But it's a passion. I love it. I can't get enough of it. And now that I got a jaguar, I want another one.
In Vail, Ryan Fish, KGUN 9.
Fans of Disney can expect new policies at Disney World after the park announced that some of their pre-pandemic perks are making a return. Starting this week, Disney guests will no longer have to schedule park reservations, meaning you don't have to choose between parks when buying a ticket. The all-day park hopper will also make a return, in addition with the Disney dining plan.
They're the hottest team in hockey. The Panthers looking to make it 8 in a row.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
When we look at kids under the age of 12, tackle football is a high-risk sport.
Should tackle football be illegal for preteens? One state could soon pass a new law. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
See us dream. See us remember. See us protest.
You matter. Your feelings matter. Your identity matters. Everything about who you are matters.
See us fight back. See us rebuild. See us shatter stereotypes. See us inspire. See us united. See us now.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
A new football law could soon be on the books in one state, and not everyone thinks it's a good idea. A new bill making its way through the California legislature could make kids tackle football a thing of the past.
As reporter Tim Johns explains, the idea is to protect children from serious injuries.
It's one of America's favorite pastimes, but for kids under the age of 12, tackle football could soon be a relic of the past in California. It's all thanks to a new bill authored by Sacramento Assemblymember Kevin McCarty that's making its way through the state legislature.
When we look at kids under the age of 12, tackle football is a high-risk sport.
Dr. Brian Feely is the head of sports medicine at UCSF. He says he supports the bill because of the elevated risk of concussions that comes with tackle football. Feely says these risks are especially heightened for young kids whose brains are in their most important stages of development.
You're at higher risk for anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation.
Feely says instead of tackle football, flag football is a far safer option. Not everyone agrees with this bill, though. That includes some local coaches here in Oakland who tell me they fear that it will disproportionately impact young kids of color.
We do a lot of low-income families, a lot of families that go through struggles and maybe not have a male figure at home.
Chewy Orr and Damon Gardner are the coaches of youth tackle football team, the Oakland Dynamites. They tell me for teams like theirs, football is more than just a sport. It's a way to teach kids about things like friendship, leadership, and camaraderie. They also say sports besides football also carry the risk of injuries.
You can jump in basketball, you can fall down, hit your head, got concussion. Look at the picture. You playing baseball, they throwing 90 miles per hour at you.
That was Tim John from KGO reporting. The Assembly bill will be discussed during a committee meeting later today. It's the first of many steps before possibly becoming law.
The Florida Panthers had St. Louis feeling very blue last night after a big blowout win. The Panthers played the St. Louis Blues at the Enterprise Center on Tuesday. After trailing behind in the first period, the Panthers tied the game 1-1 by the second period. Matthew Tkachuk broke the tie in the second period, and by the third, the Panthers had a 3-point lead. Panthers are 26-12-2 in the season and second in the Eastern Conference as a whole. The final score of the game, Panthers 5, St. Louis 1. Florida will come back home to play the Los Angeles Kings tomorrow at 7 p.m. You're watching Newsbreak. We're coming right back.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking, let's go. You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I help our fellows design their paths as creative entrepreneurs. My experiences serving startups, creative businesses, and cultural organizations, and my journey as a queer mixed immigrant with Haitian and Arabic roots, inform the co-creative environment we foster at Radcliffe. We leverage our collective diversity to encourage the building of lifelong personal learning networks and mindsets that stimulate continuous innovation.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak today. I'm Valentina Gaspari.
I'm Kenneth Bueno. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.